So what if we humanize ourselves again instead of objectifying ourselves? This is Katie Gordon, and you're listening to the Wait is Over podcast. Welcome, health and freedom seekers. Sit back and relax as you come on this journey of overcoming obstacles so you can lose weight, gain health, and live the life you've been looking for. Hello, listeners, and welcome to this week's show. I'm your host, Katie Gordon, and the wait is over with Dietless Living 360 degrees. There's no recipes, food regimes, or exercise programs to follow. This is simply about how to take your life back, how to take control, because we all have a voice and we all want to forget about dieting, focus on living, and lose weight. But to do that, we have to create a new mindset that gets us over the obstacles and challenges of life, because that's really what's impacting the most on our health and weight and ultimately causes habit relapse. And the purpose of this podcast is to share what I've learned over 25 years in dieting hell and spending over $100,000 trying to work out how to step into dietless living. And today we're talking about loving yourself naked. What's that really mean to us? Normally, it's a promise and a benefit of losing weight. But mostly we're looking in the mirror and we're not loving ourselves naked because we see bulging bits. But the reality is, if we don't love ourselves naked with all our bulging bits, then we're not going to do nice things for ourselves, are we? And if we're not loving ourselves naked when we're looking in the mirror, what are we doing? We're looking in the mirror and saying, I don't like how you look, and I don't want to see you again until you look like a model. And if we don't love the body that we're in right now, then we're going to be mean to it, because if we don't love something, we don't like it. But how can I love it when it betrays me all the time? That's what I used to think when I first kind of come across the idea that I have to love myself as I am, with all my bulging bits, with the 20 kilos of extra fat layered across my body, bulging out in different places. I just felt completely betrayed by my body, because I'd really, really want to change and I'd really want to lose weight and I'd go on the diet, but it just felt like my body was in complete opposition to me. It would eventually, if not immediately, be dragging me over to the sugar, to the crap food, getting me on the couch. And I just felt like, how can you dear heart body, and I'd be really quite mean to myself, how can you be going against me? This is my wishes that I want to be slender. But I wasn't paying attention to it. And the reality is that I trained it to be that way, not on purpose, not because I knew what I was doing, but that's what happened, right? And that shows just how intelligent our body really is, and proves that we can retrain it to like change. We can retrain it to change, to be the way we want. We just have to know that retraining takes some patience and some love. When we love something, we humanize it. When we don't love something, when we hate something, we objectify it. So what if we humanize ourselves again instead of objectifying ourselves? When we love ourselves just as we are, when we remember that we're a human being with a loving heart, that we're a good person, when we love ourselves unconditionally, we will do nice things for ourselves. We will give ourselves plenty of rest. We'll feed ourselves good food, because we're knowing what is good for us. We know what food is good for us, but our body is the one that keeps dragging us off to look for the other things, right? Because that's what we've trained it to do. In fact, it's not even what we've trained it to do. It's how marketing has trained us to do. But that is a conversation for another day. If we love ourselves, if we humanize ourselves and remember that we are loving, wonderful human people, we will give ourselves more outside time. We will move our body. We will laugh. We will want to socialize. We'll take good care of ourselves. We'll stretch. We'll want to rethink that chocolate that we're going to eat. And we're going to start to rethink the way that we treat ourselves in general. I remember just walking past mirrors all the time and just kind of snarling at myself, to be honest. It was always looking at my fat bits and judging myself and never really having a kind word for myself at all. And the reality is that if I saw anybody else all throughout, like I'm the kind of person that will, if I see you 50 times a day in the workplace, I'm going to nod and smile at you every single time. I'm going to acknowledge your existence. I can't help it. I don't know what that feels like for other people, but for me, it's just an innate instinct to say, hi, how you going? I make eye contact. But with me, because I'd objectified myself, every time I walked past the mirror or saw my reflection in a window or something, I always immediately looked at my belly and my thighs and went, you're still fat. I'd literally snarl at myself. So it's really about remembering when we see our reflection, instead of judging ourselves, it's to give ourselves a bit of a nod and a wink and a smile. And remember that we're so worth being acknowledged in such a loving way when we humanize ourselves again and stop objectifying ourselves. We will love ourselves naked right now, because that's the most important thing. When we love ourselves naked, we will do beautiful things for ourselves. We will take care of us. And loving ourselves naked right now as we are is actually the fastest way to create the changes that we want to create. If you want more help with this, just book in for a private session and let's just get it done this week. Christmas is coming. Let's just jump in and get it done this week, because life is for living and an ounce of adjustment is always easier to implement than 20 pounds of change. It's time to enjoy the life that you've been looking for.